A YouTuber just posted footage of himself launching a live possum 30 feet into the air using a homemade catapult, and now Florida authorities are investigating him for animal cruelty charges. At this point, I thought content creators had found every possible way to get in trouble with the law, but apparently they keep inventing new methods. This one really should have stayed in the drafts, though. Meet Charles Ross, a Florida-based creator who built an audience under the name Ross Creations. He operates 2 YouTube channels with about 7 million combined subscribers and a massive 3 million follower TikTok account. His content usually revolves around elaborate pranks and quirky inventions designed to confuse random people in public. And honestly, his videos are way higher effort and more creative than the typical pranksters we see online. This guy will rewire vending machines to spit out hot dogs when someone tries to buy a soda, or make a dozen mailboxes where each one gets progressively smaller, so it looks like his mailbox is shrinking day by day to the mailman. But on November 30th, Ross uploaded a video showcasing his newest creation, which he proudly labeled the Possum Launcher. And yeah, it's exactly what it sounds like. He constructed a spring-loaded catapult mechanism specifically designed to fling possums through the air. The setup had bait on the launch pad to lure wild possums to climb up into the device. In the footage Ross posted, you can see a wild possum approach the contraption, climb up towards the food, and then he just triggers the catapult. The animal gets hurled about 30 feet into the air until gravity takes over, and it comes crashing back down onto the ground hard enough to hear an extremely loud thud.
Oh, what do we got here? A possum. You are going to Mars. Yes. Oh my God! Bam! He just walks away. Oh man.
The prank here was apparently just to seriously injure wild animals for a video. It's a shockingly tone-deaf piece of content from this guy. And again, his videos aren't low effort, so him and his team had to go out there, build this entire catapult, and at no point did anyone think that maybe launching wildlife 30 feet into the air for sport was a terrible idea. But no, they built the whole thing, recorded it, watched it back, and decided to post it with the caption, "Just W for win." And that Instagram post was the spark that turned this into an absolute dumpster fire. The comment section was brutal, and the interesting thing about the feedback was that most of it came from his own fans. You normally don't see a fanbase providing most of the backlash. Usually they endorse and encourage this kind of behavior from prank channels, but not this time. Most people on the internet still have morals, and could see the obvious problem with launching animals 30 feet into the air to hit the ground for entertainment. Instagram's community note system flagged the post in reference to Florida statute 828.12, which defines animal cruelty as causation of unnecessary harm, torment, or injury to any animal, which makes sense because that's exactly what he did. He purposefully harmed and tormented an animal for a social media prank. The subreddit dedicated to possums completely lost it over this video. People in that community were furious enough that posts actively encouraged members to file reports with the FWC based on what they saw. One of the reasons the backlash was so intense is because he did this to possums specifically. Possums occupy this weird space where they're both misunderstood and genuinely helpful animals. Many people think possums are aggressive pests, but in reality, they're pretty much harmless to humans unless they're defending their babies, and even then, they're more likely to play dead than attack. Possums actually serve a really useful role in the environment since they eat tons of insects, including ticks, which carry some of the worst diseases. They also eat snails, slugs, roaches, venomous snakes, rodents, and they clean up dead animals before they can rot and spread illness through neighborhoods. People who knew these facts started flooding the comments with all this information. By early December, this had moved beyond internet drama because the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office started receiving complaint after complaint from viewers who wanted law enforcement to take action. On December 9th, Florida's Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission officially opened an investigation. They partnered with the Sarasota County State Attorney's Office to examine the incident from both a wildlife protection angle and a potential criminal prosecution angle. The FWC put out a statement explaining they take any violations involving wildlife extremely seriously and remain committed to protecting animals throughout the state. They set up a wildlife alert hotline and encouraged anyone with additional information or footage to come forward. Animal welfare organizations started weighing in as well. PETA's emergency response team called the video absolutely sickening and described it as a horrifying display of cruelty against animals who are just trying to exist. This apparently isn't the first time Ross has had issues with the law. Most of his videos are harmless, and some are pretty entertaining, but he swings and misses sometimes with content that just doesn't make sense. Last year in 2024, he got hit with a trespassing charge while filming. Back in 2019, he pulled an April Fool's stunt, where he dressed up in full police uniform, complete with a utility belt and baton, and approached random people while pretending to be an actual officer. Impersonating a police officer is never smart, especially while filming it. Allegedly in this prank, he tried to issue fake parking citations to someone who was carrying a small child. That resulted in another arrest. In 2017, authorities picked him up after he removed stop signs from a residential intersection, which isn't just illegal, it's also dangerously stupid and could cause serious accidents. Going even further back, in 2013, Ross pleaded guilty to charges stemming from giving random strangers wedgies in public. Why would you ever give strangers wedgies to begin with? That's assault. Most of these incidents ended with relatively light consequences, like probation, community service, or charges getting dropped. But the difference with this possum situation is that it involves animal welfare, which tends to be taken more seriously by both the public and the legal system than property crimes or public disturbances. So what's actually on the line for Ross if prosecutors decide to move forward with charges? Florida Statute 828.12 casts a pretty wide net when it comes to defining animal cruelty. The law covers anyone who unnecessarily harms, torments, deprives of basic care, or ends the life of any animal without a legitimate reason. If convicted of animal cruelty in Florida, penalties can range from substantial fines running into thousands of dollars all the way up to actual jail time. Ross filmed the entire incident himself, edited the footage, added his own commentary, and published it to millions of followers. There's no question what happened or who did it. He documented and distributed all the evidence himself. He's like so many creators we see, the star witness against himself. As of right now, the investigation remains active and ongoing. Even though Ross pulled the original clip once the backlash started, once something's on the internet, it's forever on the internet. As of now, he hasn't issued an apology, hasn't addressed the investigation, hasn't responded to media requests for comment, and hasn't acknowledged the situation in any capacity. From a legal perspective, that makes sense since he's potentially facing criminal charges. But from a PR standpoint, it probably doesn't help how his audience is viewing him. For now, he's just posting content like normal, and we'll have to wait and see what happens with the investigation. Let me know what you think about this entire situation in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you're new.